Qualifying for the penultimate meeting of the Ultimate GT Endurance Cup in 2024 is already underway here at the Circuit Nevers de Magny-Cours. It is another 4-hour encounter after the exciting end to the race in Mugello, where Tom Jackson took victory for the Vimana by Getspeed team with Amir Naran. Against that car, the number 20 Vortex. Already we have some dramas out there because there was a shower just before this qualifying session started, and so that is the number 20. It's Olivier Gomez at the wheel of that car. One of 3 Vortex 2.0 out in the field for this race, but yes, already coming a cropper the first time of asking at the Adelaide hairpin. And I would imagine drivers are out there on wet tyres after the shower we just saw in the Ultimate Formula Cup race. But nonetheless, 2 minutes already into this qualifying session, the first of 3, the average of which will set the grid for tomorrow's 4-hour race. Chris Stevens and Claire Cottingham in the commentary box. We'll also be hearing from Alexander Bin during the session down in pit lane. But Claire, yeah, it's a bit wet out there.
Yeah, you've just been out on it as well, so I feel for you because I've sat in the commentary box doing the Ultimate Formula Cup, so I'm quite cosy at the moment and happy. But you did say it was easing up a little bit now, though. I will say to you, because I wasn't sure if it was raining, because you can't really see on this track until they start sliding off. Even if you look to the right of our commentary box, it is not actually that bad out the right side, and then if you look directly in front of us, it's black clouds. So I think it is only going to be a shower, but we'll find out. But that's what makes the qualifying session exciting. Anything can happen.
It was definitely letting up when I was making my way back from the pit lane just now, but you can see still plenty of water out there on the racetrack being kicked up by the BMW M4 GT4 car from L'Espace Bienvenu. New teammate for Daniel Wazinski in that car, which is the silver-graded Belgian driver Benjamin Lessenes. So standing in for Reggie Rigo de Seb, who has back pain, so not competing this weekend. Benjamin Lessenes, a former French GT4 champion. Is he in the car? No, he won't be, will he? Because as part of their lineup, they would have to have the bronze driver in first. So yes, it is Daniel Wazinski, the bronze driver in that car, taking over for this Q1 session. So far, lighting up the timing screen, though, is Romain Favre, who is back at the wheel of the number 7 2B Autosport Porsche, after Hugo Chevalier stepped in for him in Mugello. And that number 7 crew is leading in the Porsche Cup category and is second overall in the championship as well. We do have the opportunity to crown the Jean-Bernard Bounet and Jean-Paul Pani champions tomorrow for what will be there. Hang on a minute, I'm going to count them together. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, their 4th title together. But for Jean-Paul Pani, it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th. So they are currently 33 ahead of the 2B Autosport pairing. If they have that at the end of the weekend, they will be champions with a meeting to spare. The 6-hour finale in Paul Ricard. And yes, it is indeed Romain Favre who is fastest at the moment. 2 minutes 0.413. It was the Vision that set the fastest time in free practice, 1:37.707. So that'll give you some sort of an indication of just how far off the pace we are at the moment with the conditions as they are. Here is the car currently fastest, the Romain Favre car, 18-year-old Frenchman, trophy midget champion, who has been out in the European Endurance Prototype Cup as well. Now another Vortex going for a spin. This time it's the 22 at the chicane. easier to spot that one with the all-carbon livery. It's 22 being driven by... Well, actually, we haven't got the driver ID set for that one. So it is either Vincent Connet or Philippe Bonnel. By the looks of it, Miguel Moyla is not taking part this weekend. But I'll double-check that before tomorrow's race. Freddie Tomlinson now going fastest, though, in the CMR Ginetta GTX that Lawrence has already been driving. His father, the Ginetta CEO, in the Ultimate GT Sprint Cup so far this weekend. Although Roman Fav has taken back those honours as Freddie runs wide through the 180-degree corner at turn number 9. And as far as I can tell, these are his first laps of the weekend because I don't think he was here for the free practice running. So I will double check that with the CMR team. Hopefully we'll have Lawrence or Freddie join us in the commentary box at some point.
I don't think Freddie was here, you're right.
No,
Shall I text Lawrence?
Yes, go for it.
All right, let's see what Lawrence says.
I was told he wasn't arriving until last night.
He told me yesterday.
Yeah,
Lawrence
okay,
literally told me yesterday that Freddie wasn't arriving until till today. So yes.
So first flying lap, and he's banged in a 2-minute 0.
Yes.
That's really impressive stuff for the British GT racer. Currently racing GT4 machinery with the CMR team, the G56, alongside Stuart Middleton. And he takes back top position with that previous lap, so into the 159s. Now he's just gone 8/10 quicker than Roman Fav. Just checking. No, of course, because that is a UCS3 car, isn't it? The Ginetta, whereas the UCS1 cars are largely the Vortexes and the Vision as well. So, yeah, got lost in their own classes for a moment there. But the good news is we're reducing the number of classes for next year. The annual press conference announced last night slight restructuring, but the big news coming out of it, two kind of major headlines. We are rebranding to the Kenol Ultimate GT Endurance Cup, so a new title sponsor for next year, but also the creation of the Ultimate Vortex Challenge, where Vortex and the Ultimate Cup Series have been working very hard together to create a championship within the GT Endurance Cup for next year, where we will have 5 or 6 cars in their own championship battle, where we're expected to see pro drivers and VIP drivers as well. So that's going to be quite exciting to see. And Philippe Bonnel, the team manager, hopefully will be chatting with us a little bit about that at some point during the weekend. He'll be starting the number 22 car, which is being driven there at the moment. Has it been updated yet on the driver ID? Yes, it has. Vincent Connet is currently at the wheel of the 22. So 2 additional 2.0s being driven. So Vincent, the L'Equipe journalist, who is...
Sorry, I was just laughing at another fast lap from Freddie. Carry on.
Well, Stéphane Perrin's now gone top in the Seb Lejeune racing cars. Stéphane Perrin and Seb Lejeune have been doing laps in the Ultimate GT Sprint Cup as well, but they are also joined by Mathieu Martin for this as well. The former Porsche France Junior, silver-graded Parisian. This is another car that's been out in Ultimate GT Sprint Cup and has had a couple of knocks and bangs in those races.
A lot of these cars, don't they, actually, when you think about it, the amount of racing they do.
Well, it's the GP Racing team, number 89, crew Gabriel Piemont and Loic Thiers have been doing laps in the GT Sprint Cup. Also Anthony Baltois, multiple Carrera Cup France and French GT champion, who is joining them for this GT Endurance race. And so it is Stéphane Perrin in the 888 car, fastest and lowering the benchmark again in the first sector. The Vision team watching on. They can be crowned champions this weekend so long as they don't lose more than 8 points to the number 7 pairing. Roman Fab, because he's missed a around in Mugello does have a different points tally to his two teammates, father Olivier Favre and then Yan Pen Lu, the two bronze drivers in that car. This is the Pierre Martinet by Almeras, kart number 71, and it is Gerard Tremblay, one of their bronze drivers, currently at the wheel of the car. There is the Seb Ligier Racing car. Now, different chassis for them because it's the green tipped car that they've been racing in GT Sprint Race. It's the blue tipped car that they're using for endurance, but whereas the Ginetta that's going through frame, I think, is the same chassis that they've been racing in Ultimate GT Sprint Cup. They still have one more race to go, actually, just after this qualifying session, I think.
Yeah, we've got quite a lot of racing still to go.
Yeah.
The Formula Cup's out next.
Yes, there isn't. There are 2 races between now and the next GT Sprint Cup. I was worried it was going to be quite a quick turnaround for them.
That's even more of a quick turnaround for the Ultimate Formula Cup. They've only just been out and they're going back out in about 10 seconds' time.
Yeah, it's true. Qualifying does tend to run a little long sometimes, especially if you're watching the European Endurance Prototype Cup qualifying. We had our 5th consecutive red flagged session in qualifying. I think we had 2 in Q1 and then 1 in Q2 as well. So it's definitely been a bit of a struggle out there for the drivers. That was even before the rain came. Everyone's been quite well behaved so far. Stéphane Perrin lighting up the rear Goodyear tyres. And we are once again extending and expanding our partnership with Goodyear. Our first year with the Goodyear brand for the GT series, expanding that into what will be 2 prototype series now for next year, with the Novas running solo in the European Endurance Prototype Cup, and then the LMP3 series getting its own championship now with 2 55-minute sprint races. Stéphane Perrin really struggling to get it stopped and keeping well off the racing line. A slide from the vortex as well of Olivier Gomez. Saw him doing plenty of that in Mugello, where we had similar conditions when he was being hounded by Tom Jackson, and the closing stages of the race came down to the last lap, where the Brit made his way through in the Get Speed Mercedes, but they're not here this weekend. But it was a breakthrough moment nonetheless for that number 20 Vortex team. First time they'd finished a race all season long, and now proving that reliability to go with the great speed that they've been able to show throughout the year, and now confident enough to run 5-6 cars in their own championship within the GT Endurance Cup for next year.
You know it's bad when the massive bit. Oh, and a vortex spin again, car 20.
Yeah. So Olivier Gomez, that's the 2nd time he's been round at the Adelaide hairpin.
Just caught a lot of drivers out that one, hasn't it? Adelaide hairpin, obviously named after the track here in Australia. Quite a few of the parts of this track are named. Oh, here we go. Here's Alexandra.
Il y a la pluie qui vient d'arriver. Est-ce que vous l'attendiez? Alors honnêtement non, on se demandait si ça allait tomber entre 13h et 14h, mais on ne s'attendait pas à autant de pluie en tout cas, ça c'est sûr. Qu'est-ce que ça change là? Vous allez faire la Q3, donc il y a encore Pierre Martini qui va passer après Girard. Qu'est-ce que ça change pour vous dans la préparation? Alors nous on n'a pas roulé sous la pluie, les protos ont roulé je crois, mais nous ce week-end on n'a pas roulé sous la pluie, donc on n'a pas trop de repères. Maintenant voilà, il faut arriver à, on va faire 4-5 tours, à prendre des repères petit à petit pour faire un bon temps sur le dernier tour à chaque fois du train de pneus je pense. En tant que pilote pro, quel conseil vous avez donné aux gentlemen pour qu'ils réussissent bien sous la pluie et qu'ils ne se mettent pas trop de pression avec ces conditions changeantes?
Je pense surtout couper les chicanes, bien prendre les vibreurs, avoir le volant le plus droit possible pour éviter d'avoir des coups de glisse en sortie de virage et faire attention sur les axles.
Merci Marlon.
So great to hear from Alexandra down in the pit lane, speaking Francais, as we see the replay, I would guess, of Gomez spinning into turn 5, the Adelaide hairpin, and a lovely little pirouette. Not, I'm sure, what he was planning to do, and facing the wrong way on the racetrack as the checker flag's out for the first part of qualifying.
Yes, and it is Mathieu Martin who has set the fastest time ahead of Anthony Beltois. So it was all changed there right at the end of Q1. And so a 1:55.9 1.6.6 for Mathieu Martin in the Seb Lejeune racing car, and that car's taken 2 Porsche Cup wins so far this weekend in the Ultimate GT Sprint Cup, but now in the sister chassis for the Endurance Cup, and 1.3 seconds ahead of Anthony Beltois. That is no mean feat. Whoa, another big moment for the number 22 Vortex, though. And so that's Vincent Connet, who was spearing across the grass and very nearly wiped out one of the other cars as it rejoined the circuit as well, and buried deep into that gravel trap. So, whoa, big scary moment there for the number 22 crew.
Your Vortexes are really struggling out there in the rain, aren't they? Is there any specific reason of why they would struggle a little bit more than others?
Well, none that come to
but they do
my head straight away.
There seems to be all 3 of them have had issues in the rain. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe different handling of some sort of something.
Well, it is not a mass-produced car, let's say, unlike, say, the Porsches and the Ferraris and the Ginettas that are around it. Vortex, the French brand, and they are still very much developing the 2.0 platform that was introduced last year. Some 120 kilos lighter than its predecessor. Lots of aerodynamic changes, but the same Chevrolet V8 engine under the hood. In the 21 car, we have the father-daughter pairing of Lionel and Solon Amrouche as well. So that's the other of the 3 2.0s, and then we have the 1.0 still out as well, the 701 car of Christophe Derenu, Stéphane Cuvinier, and Jimmy Lemounier.
It's Marlon Hernandez that Alessandro was speaking to earlier, just so we know. I didn't name check him, so I just thought I would let you know. He said he didn't expect the rain during qualifying, and the target is to do 4 or 5 laps to get some repairs. Here's the news from the pit lane. Thank you very much for that one.
Chris, that is the Martinet by Almera's number 71 driver with Pierre Martinet and Gerard Tremblay.
That rain's not letting up, is it? I thought it would, but still looking, pretty wet. Yeah, I know. I'm going to stick my head up. Bear with. I'll be back.
So as Claire Cottingham goes to check the weather out at the front of the commentary box. Just run you through the remaining order. So it was Mathieu Martin, Anthony Beltois, and then Freddie Tomlinson, 3rd in the CMR Ginetta. Romain Favre, 3rd of the Porsche Cup runners. And then UCS1 fastest was Olivier Gomez, Vortex 1-2 there with the 22 car of Vincent Connet. And yeah, confirmation on the timing there, that Miguel Moala will not be taking part in this one. And the Vision team, only 7th fastest in that one, ahead of the 3rd of the Vortex cars. Daniel Rosinski in the BMW, and then the 71 Porsche with the number 19 Chazelle car, and then the 701 Vortex 1.0 at the back of the field. We were due to have the 93 Chazelle technology Alpine out as well, but now the number 19 that is now uncatchable in UCS Light. So Benoit Marion, Julien Bouni and Olivier Martinez are champions of UCS Light for 2024, and especially as the number 93 car had to be withdrawn after a collision with the Pierre Martinet Porsche during free practice, which of course is a great shame to lose that car. We were also supposed to have XP Racing's Ferrari 488 Challenge with us as well in the UCS3 category, with Enzo Richer was going to be a part of that lineup, with him doing double duties with the Ultimate Formula Cup. But that car had an engine blowout on Thursday, I believe it was, so they are sadly not with us. But we do still have the multitude of UCS1 cars with 3 Vortex and a Ferrari 488 GT3 Evo. And so now it'll be Lawrence Tomlinson at the wheel of that Ginetta GTX from CMR. CMR very much establishing themselves as the French distributor of Ginetta machinery, running them in GT Sprint, GT Endurance, and in the European Endurance Prototype Cup with the G61 LMP3 car. That is very much a development mule for the 3rd generation machine that will be introduced next year. Nicolas Prost driving that car.
To answer the question on if it's still raining, it is, and they're big droplets, so it's not like it's miserly. It's quite significant drops out there, as you can see. Car number 12 there, Lawrence Tomlinson, who is the CEO and owner of Ginetta Racing, of course, and been racing for a long time has Lawrence Tomlinson, and racing alongside his son this weekend. And he's also just won in the sprint, the GT Sprint as well, here at Magny-Cours, and the car and his teammate got 2nd in the first race. So good stuff from that car. He's just set a the fastest lap as well, of course. Oh, another spin for a Vortex. Which one's that one? I can't quite see.
It'll either be the 20 or the 21.
Yeah, 20 really struggling out there. Is it Gomez?
It is really, really hard to see from there. Problem is, they are running identical liveries. It is Arno Gomez in the number 20.
Oh, and then the other one did exactly the same, just coming across the line too.
Well, they're like buses, 2 come along at once. Where's that gone?
Through the pit lane, I would assume.
Oh, no, there it is. Deary me.
There we go. The rain is really catching them out, isn't it? Especially at 10:17 onto the start-finish straight. But yeah, Lawrence Tomlinson is at the fastest first sector and the fastest lap overall out there, of course. In the early parts of this second qualifying session, 11 minutes left on the clock. And so we should see more times come in, as we see here. Is that Lawrence having a bit of an issue? Oh, no, it'll be the Vortex.
This is going to be the Vortex is coming through. Right, so it's arrived already sliding.
That is quite the slide.
So 11.5 minutes remain in this Q2 session. Lawrence Tomlinson is wasting no time in lighting up the timing screen with purple sectors out there. And so it'll be Freddie back in the car for Q3.
He's got the taste of winning, hasn't he, Lawrence?
Although...
Should be Freddie.
Yeah, but Lawrence is the bronze driver, and that should be... He has to do 2 sessions, and he's not allowed to do them back-to-back. So I might have to double-check that in the regs, because that's definitely the rule in the Prototype Cup, and I could have sworn it was the same rule for the GT Endurance Cup as well.
Okay,
so let me look that up real quick.
Yeah, you have a look at that. So as we follow Lawrence Tomlinson here then in car number 12. The Ginetta, obviously. What else would it be? And like I said, yeah, he's had a good run at the moment and got a win last time he was out in the car and said to me, I want to go out there and win. And he did exactly that. So good performance from Lawrence Tomlinson. Looks like we're going to hear from Alexandra once again down in the pit lane shortly, who will bring us the information in French, and we will bring you a translation as soon as possible once it's broadcast out on air. So Lawrence then just making his way around the final few corners and setting another fastest lap. He's down in the first sector actually, and then it's actually Arnold Gomez in the Vortex car 20. So shortly going to head down to Alex in the pit lane, who's standing by to bring us an interview. He has lost his driver, I can see in the top left.
On est dans le stand GP Racing Team avec Gabriel Péméan. Gabriel, on vous dérange rapidement pendant la séance. Comment elle se passe? On imagine qu'avec les conditions difficiles, ça chamboule un peu tout.
Ouais, il n'y a rien à jouer sur les qualifs, c'est une course d'endurance. Faut faire, on ne va pas prendre de risques à ce moment-là. La course va durer 4 heures, donc qu'on parte 3, 4, 5, c'est sur la stratégie demain qu'il va falloir être bon et très rigoureux.
A priori, on n'attend pas de pluie demain. Comment vous avez travaillé sur les essais libres en vue de cette course?
On a vu sur le sprint qu'on perdait un peu de rythme au bout de 5-10 minutes, mais on reste plus endurant sur la dégradation du pneu. Donc ça joue encore peut-être en notre faveur ce point-là.
Merci Gabriel.
He says that nothing was on during quali and that the race was important, and it's the race that is always important, and of course the strategy. And we will keep getting the full translation, of course, thanks to lovely Margot, who is sitting by and listening to it all for us and translating as she goes, as well as keeping us looked after, well fed and dry in the commentary box. She also provides translation for us as well, which is very helpful.
Okay, I have an answer on the two driver rule. So if one of oh, hang on, no, further on this. One of the two drivers will participate in 2 non-consecutive periods for competitors in UGT3 or USC1, as it now is. If one of the two drivers is classified as silver or gold, they can participate in only 1 period. But that is a USC3 car, so I think they get away with it.
There we go. Technicalities.
Yes. So 7.5 minutes left on the clock. It's Yan-Pen Liu in the number 7 to be Autosport car. That is fastest at the moment, a 1:58.335. Half a second ahead of Arnaud Gomez in the Vortex. We are watching now. And then Lawrence Tomlinson in 3rd position in the Ginetta. As you were mentioning, Claire, that car has won overall. Just see, Pierre Martinet around at the final corner, and it is Pierre Martinet himself driving that car. Hazards are on. I don't think that's going to help the drivers too much in knowing which side to go around. Although, yeah, you'll be able to see it quite clearly from there. Just wait for a gap in the traffic and disappear behind the tyre barrier, and then hopefully will emerge facing in somewhat the right direction. Oh no, that's not the way to... No. Oh, okay. It got there in the end. And so Pierre Martinet on his way now. And we're going to see how he ended up there. Well, already had a big swapper through Virage de l'Ice and then into the chicane. Well, he's not... wasn't exactly troubling the curbs, so can't blame that. Just lost the back end.
Yeah, curious, that one. It wasn't carrying a lot of speed into it either, but maybe it was just the... If you get on those sausage curbs even slightly, the wet can really disrupt a car quite quickly. So
too much torque demand, as drivers would say. So while we were watching that, Arnaud Gomez in the number 20 Vortex has gone fastest with a 1:58.0. He's just under a quarter of a second ahead of Yan-Pen Liu, who isn't on a particularly hot lap as it stands, and so he's got 5 and a bit minutes left to try and bang one in. They are on the second clear of Lawrence Tomlinson in 3rd position. So they are very much in a class of their own out there at the front of the field, 2 bronze-rated drivers. Here is Arnaud Gomez. He and his brother Olivier, the co-founders of the Vortex brand. And that car that raced in the invitational class of the Bathurst 12-hour this year. That must have been quite a moment for them. In fact, 2 of their drivers here this weekend from that Bathurst race. I believe they're in the 701 car. No, they're not. Maybe they're in different cars. I definitely distinctly remember seeing that earlier on, but Philippe Bonneau certainly was the team manager there with Lionel Ambrouche. That was it. Julien Boileau also part of the lineup, but he's not racing this weekend. So there's the car, third fastest at the moment, the Ginetta GTX, which is the next stage in the development of the G56 platform. It's not a GT4 car, it's not a GT3 car, it's somewhere in the middle. It is GTX being outside of competition regulations, and so that's where you see such the invitational classes at events like the Nürburgring 24 Hours and in the Dubai 24 Hours, where this car was victorious in class earlier in the year. And of course this event does mark a year since the G56 GT4 Evo made its global race debut here in this race 1 year ago, and was victorious in its class as well. And so Ginetta, we were talking about using the Ultimate Cup an awful lot to develop its machinery. The rumbles of the V8 engine as Lawrence Tomlinson puts his foot to the floor. First business venture was importing classic cars into the UK before establishing the LNT construction brand in 1991. LNT will be familiar to anybody who knows Ginetta's history, because it was Team LNT that Ginetta was synonymous with, and synonymous with Tomlinson's racing activities, winning even before Ginetta, who was winning the GT2 class at the 2006 Le Mans 24 Hours with Panos, back then, before working on Ginetta's own World Endurance Championship and Le Mans entry in LMP1 after he bought the brand in 2005. And of course, since then, it has very much been established as the home for developing GT talent in the UK, with the Ginetta Junior Championship for teenage racers, the GT4 Super Cup, the GT Academy Series as well. Seb Lejeune here, overall race winner in the Ultimate GT Sprint Cup on Friday. And two-time Porsche Cup class winner so far this weekend as well in the sister 888 car, the green-tipped car. While we were looking at that, Yan-Pen Liu has gone fastest. Once again, 157.283, now 3.5 tenths clear of Arnaud Gomez. Or tit for tat between the Vortex and the 2B Autosport Porsche. Headlights, wipers still on that car, but can't see too much in the way of raindrops out there. So 1 minute left on the clock then. Here is the man fastest in this Q2 session so far. I remember it was a 55.9 for Mathieu Martin, although of course he was the silver graded driver, so one would expect the time to be a little bit slower in this session. So 57.283 for Yan-Pen Liu. He's just making his way around the final chicane. He will have one more lap to go. He didn't improve on that previous tour. Oh, another spin for the Vortex, though. Oh, he did improve, actually, excuse me. So increased the gap to half a second. I was confused because it wasn't a personal best in either Sector 2 or Sector 3, but that was another spin for the Vortex, and I think that might have been the 701 car. Yes, it was. Oh, no, excuse me. The 701 car was the one that came through afterwards. So it was another spin for the 20, Arnaud Gomez. That's got to be the fourth time. Oh, and some damage by the looks of it on the back of the 701 car, or some loose bodywork at the very least. So something has hit the rear of that Vortex 1.0 car. Maybe that's just shaking around. I mean, the exhaust is shaking around quite a bit as well. Something's definitely been loosened up at the rear of that 701 machine. But the checkered flag is now out, and it is Yampen Lu fastest with a 1:57.116 for the crew that I'm sure is hoping to put one hand on the Porsche Cup trophy this weekend. Now, actually, what I haven't worked out yet is because we don't have the number 14 sister car from 2B Autosport here, what kind of a position does that put them in? I'm sure it puts them in a very good one, actually, because their closest challengers will be the 89. So that's something I've got to work out before the start of the race tomorrow. 83, but so it's 31 points. So as long as they don't lose 6 to the 89, they'll be champions as well in the Porsche Cup category. So we could be crowning our overall and Porsche Cup category champions tomorrow. The reason we don't have the number 14 here, by the way, is we have Cesar van der Westen racing in the Ultimate GT Sprint Cup, but his brother Carl is rallying this weekend. And so they're not taking part in the GT endurance race as they normally would. And so the Vortex makes its way back into pit lane after yet another spin for Arnaud Gomez. Second fastest in the end, half a second to Yampen Lu, with Lawrence Tomlinson in the UCS3, Janetta in third. Then it was Seb Lejoux, second fastest of the Porsche Cup runners. David Hallyday in fifth position and second of the UCS1 cars. Loic Thiers, third of the Porsche Cup runners. Benjamin Lessenes in the BMW M4 GT4 Cup in seventh position. Philippe Bonnel in the 22 Vortex, beating Solanam Rouge in the Sister 21 car. And then Christophe Devenu in the 1.0 car. Pierre Martinet in 11th. Julien Bouni in the sole remaining Chazelle Technology Alpine A110 Cup car in 12th position. And so we have just one more 15-minute session left to run. But let's head down to Alexandre in the Chazelle Technology course garage. He's catching up with one of the drivers.
Je me trouve avec Julien Bouni dans le stand de Chazelle Technology Course. Julien, comment s'est passée cette qualification?
Des qualifications un peu piégeuses puisqu'on a roulé sur le sec hier et aujourd'hui la pluie s'est invitée. Bon, un temps coutumier un peu à Magny-Cours, donc on a aussi un peu l'habitude, donc on est parti en pluie. La piste s'améliore de tour en tour, donc c'est plutôt mieux.
Vous avez perdu malheureusement l'autre voiture hier dans un accident. On imagine que vous pensez fort à vos coéquipiers.
Oui, on pense fort à eux, d'autant qu'on a vu Marc tout à l'heure, il était revenu sur le circuit. Donc il a quand même la cheville cassée, la clavicule et l'omoplate. Donc oui, une grosse pensée pour Marc aujourd'hui.
Quel va être l'objectif demain pour la course quand on sait qu'on est seul dans la catégorie UCS Light?
Alors l'objectif pour la course est compliqué parce que le seul souci c'est qu'on a perdu nos concurrents ce week-end par cet accident. Donc aujourd'hui même le championnat est joué aussi, donc on va essayer de se faire plaisir et de se faire un petit challenge entre nous et de voir au général, puisqu'on ne sait jamais, sur une course de 4 heures tout peut arriver.
Oui, c'est vrai que maintenant on peut vous le dire, vous êtes les champions de l'UCS Light cette année.
Normalement, mathématiquement oui, on va attendre la dernière course pour que tout soit bien validé.
Merci Julien.
Merci.
Q3 about to get underway. Just to let you know what Julien was saying there, saying qualifying is tricky, but they're used to that in Magny-Cours. Track is getting better with every lap as it dries out. They are thinking about their teammates as well from the number 93 crew, especially Mark, because he picked up a shoulder injury in that incident with the Pierre Martinet car. I'm not sure if that's Mark Lopez or Mark Jacob, though. So, of course, Julian was sort of acknowledging as well that they will be in a race of their own, but try and make some sort of challenge for themselves, because the Alpines are easily the slowest cars on the field, and they've kind of lost their playmates really with the number 93. We have seen up to 3 cars from Giselle Technology with their gentleman class drivers getting a bit more track time. Of course, the Giselle Technology team very much synonymous with the Alpine Elf Cup championship. And developing a new platform for the Alpine A110 Cup as well, with something that's a bit more of a GT3 spec, GT4 spec, sorry, I should say.
So following Olivier Martinez now on his first lap of this third part of qualifying, and looks like we're going to have another interview very shortly as well, but as we continue to follow around Olivier Martinez. So let's head down to Alexandre. He's in the pit lane.
Avec Solène Amrouche de chez Vortex. Solène, cette qualification, elle a été compliquée pour tout le monde. Comment vous l'avez vécue?
Alors oui, effectivement, les conditions là sont plutôt compliquées. Après, moi, j'avoue que j'aime bien la pluie, donc c'était un vrai petit plaisir. Après, j'étais en mode vraiment endurance. Le but était d'assurer, de faire en sorte de pouvoir participer à la course de demain. Donc j'ai pas pris de risque, même si je pouvais encore donner. Mais franchement, pour moi, c'était un réel plaisir. Je sais que pour certaines personnes, la pluie, bon, c'est pas trop ça. Pour moi, c'était vraiment un plaisir et l'auto était vraiment top. On a trouvé un setup vraiment sympa, donc vraiment rien à dire. Vraiment, j'ai pris beaucoup de plaisir.
Ce week-end, vous partagez le volant avec votre père, Lionel. Comment ça se passe, cette relation père-fille en tant que coéquipier?
Ça se passe très très bien, même plus que bien. On partage ça depuis toujours et depuis, enfin, avec Vortex depuis maintenant 3 ans. Franchement, côté famille, entre moi et mon père, et côté famille en plus Vortex, ça donne une alchimie de fou, donc c'est génial.
Merci Solène.
Solène Amrouche in the Vortex, also acknowledging the struggles of qualifying. Hard for anyone out there with the conditions such as they are. She was saying that didn't take any risks out there, just wanted to keep the car in one piece. And I will say, actually, that the 21 car, I think, is one we've yet to see go round, which the same cannot be said for the sister 20 and 22 machines. And saying lovely to be racing with her father, Lionel, as well. They work quite well together as father and daughter, and so that's must be a great weekend for the Amrouche family. Solène herself, inspired by her father, the young silver class driver. It was really meeting Karen Gaillard, who is competing in the European Endurance Prototype Cup as well as the Le Mans Cup with the Iron Dames, that helped her fall in love with racing, and soon she became part of the Virage Academy. So one of the many talents to come through that field. First yellow flag of Q3 goes to the number 7 to be Autosport Porsche of... I'm waiting for the message to clear at the bottom of the timing screen so that I can see the one remaining car left. Romain Favre. Now, hang on a minute. That's another update to the entry list then, is it not? Because Romain Favre did Q1, which means Olivier Favre is not here. That complicates things for the Porsche Cup category in terms of the championship. But yes, a spin there for... Well, it says Romain Favre on the timing order, but I would have expected it to be Olivier for sure. Nonetheless, cars back on their way. There's that loose bodyworked 701 Vortex that hasn't quite been beaten back into shape just yet since the end of Q2. Very much on the right rear corner, because the exhaust on the right-hand side is the one flapping around as well. So, Freddie Tomlinson is quickest in the CMR Ginetta GTX 157.712, far from the fastest time we've had so far today, but what can the Vision team do about that? Jean-Bernard Bouvet now at the wheel of the Ferrari 488. Chasing the number 20 on the road of Olivier Gomez, who's just gone second fastest, 1/10 away from Freddie Tomlinson. Jean-Bernard Bouvet moving up to third position as well with the fastest first sector of this session. 2.5 tenths of a second covers the top three. So it looks like we're ready to go back down to pit lane with Alexandre.
GT Sprint, maintenant vous êtes en GT Endurance. Comment on fait la transition de l'un à l'autre?
Aucune différence. Le sprint a servi d'entraînement, donc c'était parfait. Là on a un petit peu d'eau, donc ça change complètement la condition de course. Il faut apprendre à rouler sur la pluie à Magny-Cours. On n'a pas roulé du week-end sur la pluie, donc on apprend.
Là, au fil de la session, il y a eu 3 fois 15 minutes. Comment la piste elle a évolué? Quels échanges vous avez eu avec Mathieu d'abord, puis avec Stéphane qui est en piste actuellement?
Alors, au départ, oui, il y a eu une grande pluie qui n'était pas prévue, qui est arrivée. Donc on a fait partir Mathieu en premier, parce qu'il aime bien l'eau. Et moi j'ai eu piste séchante. Et maintenant on laisse Stéphane rouler, on va voir ce que ça donne. Moi c'est pas mal, les temps étaient corrects. Demain la course sera sur le slick, en sec. Donc on préfère attendre demain et George aujourd'hui.
On sait que vous avez beaucoup l'habitude de rouler avec Stéphane Perrin, vous roulez dans divers championnats ensemble. Ce week-end vous avez l'appui de Mathieu Martin, c'est la première fois qu'il roule avec vous. Comment il vous aide Mathieu?
Alors, Mathieu a l'habitude de la Cup, puisqu'il a roulé l'année dernière dans ce même championnat. Il a roulé ici sous l'eau, donc là il est à l'aise. Et puis ça nous permet d'avoir des datas, il a fait la Carrera Cup, donc ça nous permet d'avoir des datas, d'analyser, de nous aider un petit peu, quoi.
Et pour demain, quel va être l'objectif de la course? En catégorie Porsche Cup, vous connaissez, c'est la victoire j'imagine.
Ah, on est là, c'est pour gagner, rien d'autre.
Merci Sébastien, on suivra ça demain.
So Seb Ligier there, who has been competing in the Ultimate GT Sprint Cup so far this weekend, and now the 888 car is back in the hands of Mathieu Martin. Now, hang on a minute. Well, Martin was fastest in Q1, so does that mean we have yet another? Is Stéphane Perrin no longer racing, or is this just people aren't setting their driver IDs properly? Because this is happening slightly too much for me to think that it is a coincidence. Just to give you what Seb was saying there. Objective is just to win the Porsche Cup. It's their only objective. Mission statement very clear in the 888 camp. Tomlinson still fastest, but only 0.06 of a second ahead of Marlon Hernandez in the number 71 car. And that's the Martinet by Almeres Porsche Cup car. Silver graded driver who is competing in Porsche Carrera Cup France with the team. Had a wildcard outing in the Porsche Mobile 1 Super Cup at Spa earlier in the year. The number 22 Vortex, Vincent Connet, is setting purple sectors though. That is the all-carbon car that just making its way through the picture now through turns 9 and 10. Currently 5th fastest. Next car on the road is the man that's fastest in the session, Freddie Tomlinson. So he makes his way through the Imola chicane. Plenty of pops and bangs and smoke and flame from the exhaust that we've come used to seeing so far this weekend. That beautiful white car's getting a bit mucky out there, sadly, in these conditions. So he makes his way towards Virage de l'Ice.
I don't know if you mentioned this, but it's Freddie in there. Is that one of the ones that you've got confusion over? Because we looked into that, didn't we?
I kind of accepted that one.
Oh, okay.
Because they're not used to this, and that's only a 2-driver lineup there.
Yeah, okay.
But what's confusing me is the fact that we have 3-driver lineups that seem to be turning into 2-driver lineups.
So, but don't they? Doesn't the bronze driver have to have 2 outings?
Not if you're in UCS 3. Only
okay.
in UCS 1, I think that is
I wasn't
the
sure if
regulation.
that was the back-to-back bronze thing or just... Okay, fair enough.
No.
Fair enough. Fair. I'll give
And
that to
in fairness, in UCS 1, there's only one car that has any silver driver in it, and it's the 21 Lionel and Solon Amrouche car, and they've done exactly what they needed to with Solon taking the middle stint. But yeah, what is confusing me is the fact that Olivier Favre, Miguel Moyla, and Stéphane Perrin all seem to have disappeared off of the order. So we'll get that looked into after qualifying and before the race tomorrow. In the meantime, Marlon Hernandez here is third fastest as it stands, but going to come up against the number 20 Vortex of Olivier Gomez. You can hear the spool of the turbo in the Ferrari's GT3 engine there at Marlon Hernandez, despite following the Vortex through the final couple of corners, just went 1.2 seconds quicker than anyone, 1:56.413. So incredible stuff from the young Porsche Carrera Cup France driver from Écully in France, 20-year-old. In his third year of car racing, he's now rounded up the Vortex and the Ferrari in front of him. So Jean-Bernard Bouvet there, only fourth fastest as it stands. 1.5 seconds back from Marlon Hernandez. And he's put himself well clear. His nearest class rival, Mathieu Martin, is 3.9 seconds slower in 6th position overall. The number 22 car, Vincent Cornet, is going fastest again in the first sector. And we saw him do this a couple of laps ago, but made a mistake. He didn't improve. Hernandez lighting up the middle sector now in that Martinet car. See if he can put even more daylight between himself and Freddie Tomlinson in the timing order in the closing stages of this qualifying session. He's just made his way out of Chateau d'Eau. And heading down towards the last couple of corners. He should have enough time left on the clock to get one more flying lap in. Oh, runs a little bit wide though through the penultimate corner, and a hop, skip and a jump over the curbs as well. Not a super tidy end to the lap, so I doubt this will be an improvement. And it's not lost a second in the end with that wide moment through Virage de l'Ice, and then a big jump over the curbs at the final chicane. Vincent Cornet also losing time in the middle sector as well, so it doesn't look like this lap is going to come to anything significant, but the Martinet car sliding its way through Estoril. Great stuff. Cornet did end up putting in a personal improvement, a 58.0, but still 1.6 off of Hernandez, but not too far behind Jean-Bernard Bouvet for 4th position. Only a 10.5 between them, who in turn is less than a 10.5 ahead of Olivier Gomez as well. And, oh, speaking of Vincent Cornet, off into the gravel as the checkered flag is now out, so that's that Estoril corner. And Cornet doesn't seem to be in a massive hurry to get back onto the racetrack. So that car might well stay there. Of course, yeah, session is over. Marlon Hernandez fastest with the not the best time we've had in this qualifying session. That does go to Mathieu Martin. Yeah, part of the reason I am starting to think that as well, because according to the timing screen, it's Mathieu Martin driving the 888 car, but lapping 4 seconds slower than he was in Q1 earlier. So not really convinced by that. I think the driver ID might have been set incorrectly there. So it is Marlon Hernandez ahead of Freddie Tomlinson and Olivier Gomez, who is fastest of the UCS1 runners. The Vision Ferrari of Jean-Bernard Bouvet splitting the 2 Vortex teammates with Vincent Cornet in 5th position. And Mathieu Martin and Gabriel Pimont in the 2 Porsches. That's Seb Ligier Racing and GP Racing, respectively. Lionel Amrouche in the 21 Vortex in 8th position. Olivier Favre. So that one did update in the end. So it was Olivier Favre back at the wheel of that car. So there was a slight delay in the timing order being updated there. Stéphane Couvenier in the 701 Vortex and Daniel Wyszynski in the GT4 BMW. And Olivier Martinez took the car out, the number 19 Chazelle Technology Course Alpine. So the cars are just making their way back into pit lane. That is the 3 qualifying sessions over to set the grid for tomorrow's 4-hour race, the Ultimate GT Endurance Cup, where Vision can become overall champions, where Olivier Favre and Jan Penlu can seal the Porsche Cup championship as well. We've already crowned our UCS Light champions, which is the number 19 Chazelle Technology crew of Benoit Marion, Julien Bouni and Olivier Martinez. Having won all the races they've entered so far this year, ahead of their teammates. So a reminder of the results then. Marlon Hernandez top ahead of Freddie Tomlinson, Olivier Gomez, Jean-Bernard Bounet, Vincent Cornet, Mathieu Martin, Gabriel Pimont, Lionel Amrouche, Olivier Favre and Stéphane Couvenier at the top 10, Daniel Wyszynski and then Olivier Martinez at the back of the field. That is just the Q3 order though. Of course, we have to take the averages that will set the grid for the 4-hour race tomorrow. Reminder that lights out for that race is at 9:50 local time tomorrow.